Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy Sahivaime and it is so good to be back. I know I said I was going to be consistent, but being a YouTuber as well as a blogger and a human being, for example, as we all are, it is so hard, especially if you're new to YouTube. So if this is your first time of seeing my face, please subscribe to this channel. It is totally free of charge. And for those who have been seeing my face for a few times and you're coming back to see my face again today, thank you for the consistency. I will try to be more consistent. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump right into why we're here. On today's topic, we'll be talking about 5 signs that a person does not respect you. Yes, I know. Okay, so if you'd like to learn more, stay to the end of this video. Thank you. So many of the things we tolerate, especially those that are of bad behavior, things that make us feel less of a person, these things started from home. You know, the tolerance for these bad behaviors, for insults, for lack of accountability, for lack of regards to oneself starts from experiencing or starts from the toxic behavior of people that we've lived with, either in our homes or in our dorms or in our extended families, as well as even, in our workspaces. So technically, like they say, charity begins at home. So many of the things that we subconsciously tolerate started from us having no choice as people or as children growing up. You know, the choice we didn't have that made us tolerated some of these things. So today we'll be talking about how that can affect the reason why people do not respect you. So my first tip is that when a person calls you disregarding what time of day it is, whether it's a Monday, it's a Sunday, it's a Saturday, or whether it's 8 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m., or even 10 p.m., they just call you and they just want to say whatever it is. They want to just tell you anything. You know, sometimes even our family members do these things consistently, like they don't regard whether you are comfortable, whether you are sleeping or you are resting. They have no respect for time or what day it is, whether it's your day to be at work or it's your day to be asleep or it's time for anything. So when a person calls you unannounced, like just any time of the day, because technically if you're to call a person, you call from at least 10 a.m. If you are not their fiance, their lover, their husbands or wives, you don't call someone as early as 7 a.m. You should have respect for people, especially for people who, especially because people deserve respect. So if you have the habit of calling people any time of the day, disregarding whether or not, just because they are your friends or they're your sister or they're your brother, you just call them anytime, it's lack of respect. And if that is being done to you, do not take it anymore. I have had to actually block a lot of people's numbers from calling me. And these are not strangers. These are people I went to school with, people I grew up with. I remember some time ago, at about 3 years ago, someone called me on the phone. And this was a guy that I grew up with. We went to the same primary school, went to the same primary school, went to the same secondary school at some point. And we grew up as friends, as family friends as well. And then he called me. He called me early in the morning. It was 7 a.m. I was like, why are you calling by this time? If it's not an emergency, you shouldn't call me by 7 a.m. And then he was like, oh, are you still sleeping? Asking me all sorts of questions. Then my question was, why are you calling? And he had no tangible reason as to why he was calling. He just wanted to call. He just felt bored and just wanted to talk to someone. So he just felt like I would be the right person to just call. Like that shouldn't happen. If I, whether or not, because a lot of people, I also understand that a lot of guys, not even just guys, a lot of people, they don't respect people. They don't respect single people, especially as a girl like me. Someone just feels like they can call me anytime. After all, she doesn't have children. She doesn't have a husband. So what is she doing with her time? They can just call you anytime. So if anyone does this to you, warn them sternly. And if they fail to not respect your time, then you block them. Trust me, you can do away with them. And then when they try to call you and they see it's no longer connecting, they will find a way to get to you. Or any day they stumble or you run into each other, then they'll ask you, oh, I can't reach you anymore. Oh, it's not like you have very important things to tell me. So why do you always call me at odd hours? You call me anytime. And then trust me, people who don't respect you, they know that they don't respect you. They know. So if you keep tolerating this, it's because maybe from your home, from your houses, from your various spheres of life, you have had to deal with family members or even parents who just spring themselves up on you or just, impose themselves on you without thinking about you. Okay, so the next tip is ingratitude. Gratitude, they say, comes from a place of love, comes from a place of appreciation, and comes from a place of care. When a person cares about you, they will be thankful to have you. Or should you venture into doing anything for them, they will be thankful. They will acknowledge your your time, your input, your energy, and they will appreciate you. So ingratitude is one of the signs to know that a person does not respect you. Like I've had to deal with family members who they, it starts from even first. When you call a person, they can't exchange pleasantries. Like you call, good morning, how are you? They can't do that. They just call, enjoy, and this and that, and all of that. If a person can't even first take a minute to say, how are you doing today? Did you sleep well? How are things with you? Oh, how's the business going or something? So you both will exchange, oh, this is fine, business is good, and this. So it will give rise to the relationship to be flexible, for you to be comfortable in talking with each other. And so if they can't do this, then there is an uptightness in the air. And these people, no matter what you do for them, they can never be grateful. They are not grateful to have you. They are not grateful to be a part of your life. They are not grateful that you are a part of their lives. They are not grateful for anything. So if they are not grateful, they are not appreciative of you, your existence, your efforts, for anything at all, then they do not respect you. So next tip is comparison. They said comparison is the stealer of joy. I don't know how to say the stealer of the killer of joy or something. So when you compare, technically, we advise our younger ones, we advise ourselves, even when we do all of our positive affirmations, we try to advise ourselves that we are good, we are awesome, we're beautiful, we deserve love, we deserve care, we deserve, so much. And then we try not to compare ourselves, because it is when you compare yourself to someone else, that's when you start to feel like you're not doing enough, or whatsoever it is you're doing, it's not yielding whatsoever result you're expecting. So it just gives rise to unnecessary expectations that can actually dent the journey that you are on. So comparison, when people who compare you to other people do so that they don't have to explain, or so that they don't have to make you feel worthful, worthy. Said something wrong. Okay, so they don't have to make you feel worthy. When a person, okay, for instance, I had a conversation with somebody, and the person was like, that, okay, so I'm saying it in plain English. So the person was like, eh, normally I not to they send people now because of you, because of you. Like, he was trying to tell me that normally he wouldn't have engaged in a form of conversation that he would start to explain himself to me, is because, compared to other people, he wouldn't do that. Like, darling, if you're dealing with me, I need to explain things to you because it is me. You don't have to now make me feel like, oh, you're trying to tell me that, or you're trying to place me on an important level so that I will feel like I am important for you to, bring yourself to that level of explaining yourself to me. I felt insulted, and I felt like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this person anymore. So I just felt like, okay, there is a level I'm just going to place him at. So that level remains that we can't get together, we can't become close friends. If we were close, then I'm going to, withdraw, and nothing else can come off that relationship. When people compare you, I've seen people do it. They compare their children. Look at Tom. Tom is doing so well. What about Betty? Betty was not even 15 when she started making money, and this and that. It makes people just feel small. Comparison makes people feel small because first things first, if we give you a bucket of sand, can you mold a human? So if you can't do that, don't compare anybody to anything. Don't compare your child to another person's child. Don't compare your lover to another person. Don't compare your wife. When we started dating, you weren't like this because now this and this. Imagine, look at your sister. Your sister she has a flatter stomach. Don't compare people. It makes them sick. It's sickening to compare someone. It makes them feel small. Don't do it. Don't compare. Comparison is not good. So when a person compares you, just know they do not respect you. Next tip is uncaring. So in this part of the world, I understand clearly after so many years of dealing with people, I come to understand that a lot of people don't even care. A lot of people don't know how to care. Like right now, we are protesting for a better Nigeria. And then my question is, do we really have to? Do we really need to protest? It is common sense that life should be better. But because of that I don't care attitude, even the smallest manager in a restaurant is bullying the younger staff. You know, that I don't care attitude doesn't matter whether you crash and burn. As long as I get a fair share, as long as I get what I need, as long as I get what I want, it doesn't matter. You know, I don't care. You're talking to someone on the phone, they don't care to listen to what you're saying. There was one time I used to live in Ikeja cantonment here in Maryland, Lagos. So, we'll pass through the gate, and of course, sometimes they'll have to ask you where you're going to and all of that. So I got to the gate, and then they were asking me where was I going to. I said I was going to the officers' quarters. And then they asked what I was going for. I was like, well, I was going to visit my family. So I had some family living there, my cousin and his family, and her family rather. So they were living there. So I can't remember the one of the people at the gate, the soldiers at the gate, made a comment. And for some reason, I'm very petite. For some reason, the guy felt like he should intimidate me. He should, because they do that a lot. Shout out to good soldiers out there. They do that a lot. And so this guy just tried to intimidate me. He just said, he threw words at me. And I was like, I beg your pardon. Then he was like, well, he can decide that I do not go to where I'm going to. In fact, I should call the person I'm going to meet. I was like, why are you acting this way? First, you are the one in the uniform. I'm just a civilian. I'm just a young girl. So why do you feel the need to trample on me? Why do you feel the need to? And so the phone call was placed. I said, okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to call. So I called my cousin. I had an older sister there at my cousin's place that day. So I think the houseboy picked the call and gave the phone to my sister. And then my sister said that yes, 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 Joy, she's coming to the house. And then gave the address of where it was or where at in the barracks. And then my sister was apologizing to this officer. So after which I got home. So when I got in there, my sister was yelling at me. At first, I was surprised. Why were you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? And then she's like, for a person to call and say that I was rude, that I'm very rude, I'm very stupid, I'm very this, I'm very that. And I was like, so an outsider will call and tell you things about your own sister, and you will not just take sides with them, but you will feel the need to degrade me, disrespect me, disregard my feelings. I am an adult, someone who was in the I was in the university then. So you're trying to say I don't know my left from my right. And then suddenly, whatsoever that officer said, even if he lied, just to get me to feel less, you would still make me feel less even after I have had to deal with him. That's how I just knew that my sister didn't care what I felt. She didn't care if I was humiliated. She didn't care about anything. And do you know, the funny thing was that it wasn't even funny, it was debilitating to say the least. There were people in the house, and she was not even saying it with a calm tone. She was yelling. She was all around me, yelling and saying all sorts of things. That's just how I knew that. My sister, she doesn't care. And from that day on, I just knew that I'm not going to break my, I'm not going to break a sweat trying to ever try to even consider, because over time, it kept playing, playing and playing, playing, that this person don't respect me, they don't care about me, they don't regard me. So when a person does not care about you, it will not matter to them how you feel. It will not matter to them whether you had to journey. In fact, nothing you do will matter, because they don't care. All they want is what they need from you, you have done it. They don't care. A lot of people don't even, like, you are your menstrual, you're having menstrual cramps. Suddenly, they're looking at you like, I beg, when I mean, don't the rest of us see period or things like this. So when a person don't care about you, they don't respect you, they don't regard you, that's a sign that they don't regard, they don't love you. When a person can't care about you, can't respect you, compares you to other people, disregard your time, don't run things by you before they ask you, or they are not asking you, they are telling you what you do for them, they don't respect you. And the last on the list, the last tip for today is when people are unapologetic, when they lack accountability. When people are unapologetic, no matter what happens, they will never apologize. When they lack accountability, they would never hold themselves responsible for the role they played in making things difficult for you, or in making things, bad for you. So people who don't have respect are not accountable. People who don't have respect, they lack accountability. They would do anything just to excuse themselves from the situation. They would, in fact, sometimes they would twist things around. They always have a way with words, always explaining things instead of apologizing and coming up with, okay, this is the role I played. I should have done this. I should have done that. For that, I am sorry. I apologize. And then next time, they try not to do it again. Because there are people who are serial apologizers. They apologize forever. If you call them on the phone, before you say Jack, they're saying sorry. They want to excuse themselves. They say sorry. You called them and they weren't there with the phone, or the phone was ringing before they got to the phone. They pick up. They are saying sorry. Those people, they are serial apologizers. Those are not the ones we're talking about, because those ones, the apologies actually don't mean anything. It's a language for them. The apologies don't mean anything. So there are people also who like to apologize, but they don't mean it. Because when a person says they are sorry, it means they actually realize that they've done something wrong. It was a mistake. And then you don't have to remind them next time about it. they would remember not to do that which they've done initially that has made them accountable, that has made them apologize. So they try not to hurt your feelings. They put you into consideration. That's how it is. So when people don't consider you, when people don't respect you, when people don't regard you, they don't apologize. And even if they apologize, they are used to apologizing all the time, and they keep hurting your feelings. They keep stepping on you. They keep, you know, disregarding your feelings and everything. And then at the end of the day, you just feel so stressed out dealing with these kind of people. So I hope with these few points of mine that I've been able to explain in essence what it means for someone to not respect you. And also these all of these things that I've listed has to do with romantic relationships too. So if you spot any of these traits, just know that you need to exit from that kind of relationship. You need to remove yourself from that space where you have to deal with someone who does all of these things that has been listed. So thank you guys for watching to the very end. My name is Joyce Ahiwaime, and I hope you stick around for the next video. Okay, so I hope you're all are safe out there with protest that is ongoing, right? I hope we're all safe and we're secured, and we keep hoping and we keep praying for a better Nigeria. Okay, so take care until I come your way next time. Ciao.